Greetings to everyone and welcome to Grade 8 Tutor. My name is Afari Ernest and you can also call me CEO. Today we are going to look at one of the past questions under quantitative methods. And so let's quickly run through the questions. We are solving question 1 to 20 in this video. We will continue from question 21 to 40 in the next video. Okay, so as we see the questions on our screens, question 1 says, one way of measuring forecast accuracy is to measure the extent of forecast error. Which of the following is not an approach to measuring and comparing forecast error? So you see, first one we have what? Mean absolute what? Deviation, right? And the second one we have what? Mean squared error. Third one we have mean average percentage error. And the fourth one we have moving weighted what? Average. Now, when you check from option A, B, C, and D, you will see that the D is used for what? Forecasting. When we were treating forecast, measures of forecasting, right? But then here we are interested in what? Forecast what? Error. And ways to measure what? Forecast error, we have what? Mean absolute percentage error. Then we have mean absolute deviation, and we have mean squared error. So these are the three approaches that we use to calculate or measure forecast of error. So in this case, option D is the correct answer here. Okay. Then let's look at question number 2. Which of the following is not a qualitative forecasting technique? So when I was teaching the forecasting, I told you that for the forecasting technique, we had what? 4. One was what? Delphi method. So our A is what? Correct. Okay. Then the second one is customer force composite. We never said customer force composite because under the qualitative forecasting techniques, we have consumer forecast composite. Consumer force composite. Do you get it? So it is not customer force composite. So this is wrong. And C and D. C, we have jury of executive opinion, whereby they call expertise, okay, on board. And for the D, we have customer market survey, where they send surveys to the market to generate some information on how to forecast on their products. Okay, so the C is correct, D is correct. In this case, the correct answer is what? B. Okay. Then let's look at question 3. Another common term associated with error in forecasting is bias. Yes, because forecasting deals with what? Biasness. Then it tells whether the forecast tends to be too high or too low, or by how much. Thus, bias may be negative or positive, and it's true. You see, when we were calculating for weighted moving averages, yes, we got to a point where the forecast, we had what? Positive and what? Negative. Okay. So, however, it is not good measure of the actual size of the errors because, because the answer is the negative errors can cancel out what? The positive errors. Do you get it? Because when we were treating the moving averages, we had positive, and it got to a point in time where we had what? Negative. So if you don't understand the forecasting, we have a video on the forecasting. You can go back and watch them before you continue. Okay. So the reason is the positive values will cancel out what? The negative values, and at the end, it is not going to make your work what? Actual. Okay. And so that is why when you are determining the forecast errors, you use the percentage error, mean absolute deviation, and mean squared error. Whereby if you even get negative, you find the absolute value of the negative. I hope you get it. And so the correct answer for question 3 is what? A. Now let's move on to question 4. Which of the following is a disadvantage of the weighted moving average method of forecasting? Okay, so all the forecasting techniques, the weighted moving average, the simple moving, and the weighted average, the least advantageous one is the weighted moving. Okay, yes, that is the weakest form of weighted. Okay, so weighted moving, that is the weakest technique. So Question 4 is disadvantage of the weighted moving average. The reason is it cannot pick up trends very well and will always stay within past levels. When I was teaching, I said it. So if you had learned the forecasting, you'll probably be able to answer the question number 4. So the correct answer here is option C. They cannot pick up trends, so it makes them stay in the past. Okay, then let's look at question number 5. If A, B, and C are any m by n matrices, okay, and K is a scalar, then which of the following does not hold true? So which of the following options is not true or incorrect? So if you check A, we have what? A plus B, right? Like this plus C. So in other words, you can still write it A plus B like this plus C. So this is the same as what this. Okay, so it means option 1 is what? Option A is what's correct. Okay, then let's look at option B. If you have a scalar K and it is multiplying A plus B, what do? You are going to get what? K, that is the scalar A, plus K, the scalar what? B. Okay, yes. And so it means option B is also what? Correct. Okay, let's look at option C. Let's look at option C. So option C does not even have K in it, so we can ignore it and move to option D. But then option C is also what's correct, because A plus B exponent T. If you have A plus B exponent T, it is the same as you getting A squared plus what? B, AT plus B exponent C. But when you talk about the, how do we call it? D, that is where we have the key, and that is where we have, or we are interested in. Okay. K, T, A, T, right? Something like this. Other than that, you will get this, but then this alone is making it what? Incorrect. That is what we mean here. Okay. So when you read first question what 5, it says A, B, and C are any m by n what? Matrices, and K is what? A scalar. Then which of the following does not hold true? And that is what? D. Okay, that is D. So question 5, we have D. Now let's look at question number 6. So question number 6, an m by n matrix A is rectangular array of real numbers with m, that is the rows, and n columns. So if you get, let's say the dimension, it was m by n matrix. So if you get columns and rows, it is what? So this is what? 2 by 3, right? So 2 by 3 matrix. So this is what you are talking about. M by what? N, right? So M is the rows, N is the column. So this is what? The 2 by 3 here is indicating what? Dimension. It's telling us this is what? The dimension. So our answer for this is what? C, dimension. Okay. So we are done with the first 6 questions. Now we are moving on to question 7. We are now entering into calculations. Okay. So question 7. Alright, so question 7. Given that 102x. So you have 102x, okay, like this. Multiplying 3201. Multiplying 3201, okay. And equal to 326 3, right? So we have to find for what? The value of x, okay? So it means this matrix is multiplying this matrix, and after getting the answer or the result for the multiplication, you compare it with this, because anytime you have equal sign, it means whatever you have on your left hand side must be equal to what you have on your right hand side, right? So let's solve whatever we have on our left hand side and compare it to the one we have on our right hand side. So when you are solving for multiplication of matrices like this, you take this rule and you multiply it by this column. So this rule, we have 1 multiplying 3, and we have 3 plus 0 multiplying 0, we have 0, okay? Then the top here will also take this one, so we will just shift. 1 times 2 is giving us 2 plus 0 times 1 is giving us 0. Now we come to the down, so we come to the down here. 2 times 3 is giving us 6 plus x times 0 is giving us 0. We come here, 2 times 2 is giving us 4, and x times 1 is giving us what? X, okay? As simple as that. Then we compare it to 3, 2, 6, 3, right? So this one is giving us 3 here, we are getting 2 here, we are getting 6 here, and we are getting 4 plus x. So this is our resultant, 3, 2, 6, 3. Right? So what are we going to do next? We have 3 here, and so this one is gone. We are comparing them. This 2 is the same as this. This 6 is the same as this. So it means this 4 plus x is equal to what? This 3 here. So we say 4 plus x is equal to 3. And we can say our x, then this one will go to the right hand side. So x is equal to 3 minus 4. X is equal to what? Negative 1. Okay, so it means our x is equal to negative 1. So when you bring this negative 1 here, you see that it is going to be 4 minus 1, and you get 3 here, and that is what you have here. Are you good? So our answer is negative 1. That is for question 7, and that is option D. Okay, that is option D for question 7. Option D. Now let's move on to question 8. It says, given that A equals 4, 1, 2, 3. A equals 4, 1, 2, 3. So there's the matrix, okay? Then we have B equals 1, negative 2, 1, negative 2, negative 1, 4, negative 1, 4, okay? So this is what we have. Then find 2a plus 3b. So 2a plus 3b. Okay. So this one is just a scalar, right? So what we are going to do is 2 will multiply the matrix A to get this 4, 1, 2, 3, right? And there is plus A. We bring our 3 multiplying matrix B, which is 1, negative 2, negative 1, 4, right? So we have represented this in this form. So once you have the scalar, what do? You are going to expand them. So this scalar will multiply this 4 to give you 8 here, 2 multiplying 1 here to give you 2 here, 2 multiplying 2 here to give you 4 here, 2 multiplying 3 here to give you 6 here. Okay? So we have 1 here. Then we have 3. 3 multiplying 1 here is what? Oh, sorry. We are expanding it, so there is no need for us to bring 3. So we have 3 here. 3 times negative 2 is what? Negative 6. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Then 3 times 4 will give you what? 12. Okay. Alright, so now you have this. You are just going to add this addition of what? Matrices. So 8 plus 3 will give you what? 11 here. 2 plus negative 6 will give you negative 4. 4 plus negative 3 will give you 1. And 6 plus 12 will give you 18. I hope you are good. So this is our final answer. So we need 11 negative 4, 1, 18. And that is option A. So question 8, we have option A. Okay. Question 8, we have option A. Now let's move on to question number 9. Question number 9. Question number 9. So question 9, let's clean this part. Okay, so for question 9, the values of x and y which satisfy the equation. So we are going to find for x and y in the matrices. So we have 5x, 4, negative 1. Okay, so we have, let's draw a line here. Okay, so we have 5x, 4, negative 1. 4, negative 1. Then we have 2y. Okay. Then again, it is equal to 4 and 5. It is equal to 4 and 5. Okay. So we are going to multiply this and compare it to this, just like what we did in question 7. Okay. So if you take this and you multiply it by this, so 5 times 2 will give you 10 plus x times y will give you xy, right? You are done with the first part. You come here, 4 times 2 will give you 8, and negative 1 times y will give you negative y. Okay, you are done with the simplification. So you have 4 and 5 here. Now when you check for the first one, or the first row, you see that we have x and y, right? But for the second row, we have what? Negative what? Y. And so it means when we just equate 8 minus y to 5, we can easily find what? Y. Then we substitute the value of y into what? This. Okay. So when you are writing this in the equation form, we are going to get 10 plus xy. The top one will take the top one, which is a 4. So this is equation 1. Okay. Then you come here, 8 minus y is equal to 5, and that one will give you equation what? 2. I hope that is clear. So now you can solve y from equation 2 to get y will come here. So you have 8 minus 5 equals y, and so you have 3 equals y. So you can say, therefore, y is equal to what? 3. So now you have been able to calculate for what? Y. So you can equate equation 1, right? Then you substitute, you can equate equation 1 to 4 as here. Then you substitute what? Y into the equation. So you have 10 plus x, y. Okay? So 10 plus x, y equal to 4. So we are going to substitute what? Y into this. So we have 10 plus y is what? 3. So 3x. Okay, equal to 4. So we have 10 plus 3x equal to 4, right? So we have 3x is equal to 4 minus 10. 3x is equal to negative 6. And you divide both sides by 3 by 3. Okay, so our x is equal to 3 goes here 1 and it goes here 2, right? So you have negative 2a. So now you have been able to calculate for what? X to what? Negative 2, y to what? 3. So they ask you to calculate for x and y. So your x is equal to negative 2 and y is equal to 3. So we look for x equals negative 2, y equals 3, and that is option what? D. Okay, option D. Question number what? 9. Question number 9 is what? D. Okay. So let's move on to question number 10. Question number 10. What is the inverse of A? So if you have A equals 1, 2, 3, 4. What will be the inverse? Okay, that is what we are going to look out for. Okay, so the inverse of A, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so how do you find for inverse? Okay, first of all, before you can find for the inverse of this, it is going to be what? 1 over the determinant of A, then it will just multiply. You interchange the two of you interchange what these two, then you negate the remaining 2. So 4 will just come up here. So you have 4 and you have what? 1. You have interchanged them, right? Then with the 2 and the 3, you just negate them. So negative 2, negative 3. And that is how we do it. Okay. So the only thing left here is your determinant. So after getting the determinant, you can multiply each element by what? The determinant, and you are good to go. Okay, so now let's first calculate for what? The determinant of A. How do you calculate for determinant of A? Determinant of A is equal to the multiplication of this minus the multiplication of this. So it is 4 times 1, which is 4, minus 3 times 2, which is what? 6. And so we have negative 2 as our what? Determinant. Okay, so this is the application. We are just going to apply it here. So you have 1 over negative 2. This is it. Then you multiply it by 4, negative 2, negative 3, 1. So this is how to solve for the inverse. The only thing left is you have to take the fraction, multiply it by this, and you are done. Okay, so 1 over 2, 1 over negative 2 multiplying 4. 2 goes here, 1, 2 goes here, 2. So 1 times 2 is what? 2. So you are going to be left with what? Negative 2. I hope that is clear. So half times 4 is what? 2. But then there is negative here. So you are going to get what? Negative 2. Now, half times 2 is what? 1, right? There is negative, negative. It will make it what? Positive. So it's like negative 1 on 2 multiplying negative 2. These two will cancel out this. Negative times negative is what? Positive. So you are going to get what? Positive 1. And so you have 1 here. Then you have 1, negative 1 on 2 multiplying negative 3. And so the negative will change to positive, and the fraction will become 3 on 2. This one you cannot cancel anything here. So I'm going to get 3 on 2 here. Okay? Then you have half multiplying 1 here. But then there is what? Negative here. So you are still going to get negative 1 over 2. So negative 1 over 2. So this is our final answer. Let's look out for the answer in the options. So negative 2, 1, 3 on 2, negative half, right? That is option B. Question number 10 is option B. Let me confirm it. Negative 2, 1, 3 on 2, negative half, and that is option B. That is option B for question 10. Option B. So now let's move on to question number 11. Okay. Question number 11. Now question 11. Find the value of x plus y if. So find the value of x plus y. So find the value of x plus y if 3, 2, 2, 3. So you have 3, 2, 2, 3, like this, one matrix. Multiplying xy, right, equal to 1 and 4. Okay, so we are supposed to look for x plus y. That is what we are supposed to look out for. Okay, so how do you find x plus y? We have solved a similar question whereby I think we had simultaneous equations and we solved it successfully. So we are going to apply the same method here. This 3 will multiply the x here, so you are going to get 3x plus these 2 multiply the y, so 2y. Okay, then 2 multiply the x here to give you 2x plus what, and this one give you 3y, and this one is equal to 1, and the down one is equal to what, 4, and that is all equation 1, equation 2. So for this one, you can solve it by elimination method, you can solve it by substitution method, you can also solve it by what, graphical method. But then I have made a video on how to solve simultaneous equation using what, calculator. So when you get to this stage, what you just have to do is take your calculator, you punch mode, you go to option 5, that is where equation is, and you check option 1, that is equations involving 2 variables. Then you input the coefficients, right? 3, 2, then you input 1, 2, 3, 4. You will get the values for x and what, y. Okay, now let's solve it. Okay, so we can multiply, we are going to use elimination method. So we can multiply this, the equation 1 by 3, right? Then we multiply equation 2 by 2. Okay, so we are going to say equation 1 by 2 and equation 2 by 3. So when you multiply 2 by this, we are going to multiply everything here by 2. So you are going to get 6x plus, if you multiply it, you are going to get 4y, and you get 2 here. And when you come to equation 2, multiply it by 3. So 3 times 2x is going to give you 6x plus 9y equal to 12, right? And so by elimination method, since we have 6x and 6x here, we are going to cancel them out. Okay, so we are left with what? 4y, this one by 2, we are getting 4, and this one by 3. Okay, so this one by 2, we are getting 6, and this one by 3, we are getting 6. This one by 4, and this one we are getting what? 9. Yes. So we are left with what? 4y equals what? 2, 9y equals what? 12. But then what are we doing? We want equation 2 minus equation 1. That is what we are doing. So 6x minus 6x is gone. Now 9y minus 4y is giving us what? 5y equal to 12 minus 2 is giving us what? 10. I hope that is okay. So we divide both sides by 5. So you have y to be what? It goes here 1, it goes here 2. So you have y to be what? 2. Now since you have been able to find y, it means you can find x in each of the equations, okay? But we only need to do it once. So taking equation 1 into consideration, we have 3x plus 2y, but y is what? 2. So we say 2 multiplying 2 equal to 1. Okay, so we have 3x plus 4 equal to 1, 3x equal to 1 negative 4. 3x is equal to negative 3, right? Then you divide both sides by 3. Your x is equal to, this one goes here 1, it goes here 1. So your x is equal to negative 1. I hope that is clear. So now you have been able to calculate for x and y. And y is equal to 2. So let's look out for, they said x plus y, right? That was the question. So negative 1 plus 2. We have what? Positive 1. Okay. And so the answer is B. Positive 1. B. Okay. Question 11 is B. Now let's move on to question 12. Question 12. Find the value of x in the equation. Right, so we have 3 by 3 matrix here. We are going to find what the value of x. And so for the question we have negative 2, 2, 1. We have negative 2, 2, 1. Okay, we have 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 3 here. We have 1x, negative 1, negative 1. And so this is it, equal to 16. So it's just 3 by 3 what? Matrices. And so how do you find for x? You see, we have two ways of calculating for 3 by 3 matrices. You can either you can either pick this one, you cover the two spaces so that you multiply it by this. You use this one, you cover the two spaces so that you multiply it by this, like that. And you can also use what? The cover-up method. But the cover-up method is very simple. So that is what I will just recommend for you. So it works this way. Negative 2, 2, 1. Then you repeat the first two. So negative 2, 2. Now you come to the middle. You have 1, 1, 3. You repeat the first two. 1, 1. You have 1x, negative 1. Then you repeat the first two. 1x. Okay. So that is it. No, I don't need to even bring in brackets. So we are just going to use the arrow method, right? We are going to use the arrow method. And so this approach is what? Arrow method. So I'll just recommend the arrow method for you, okay? So here you are just going to link them with what? 3 arrows. So we make sure it passes through 3 numbers, okay? So here is just 1. Here is just 1, 2. Here is 1, 2, 3. So we see this, and this, okay? Now we are going to the top. We have just 1. We have 1, 2. But we have 1, 2, 3. So it will pass here. It will pass through this. And it will pass through this. So this is the arrow method. Okay. So we are just going to find the product of all the arrows. Okay. We are just going to find the product of all the arrows. So for this arrow, we have negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Times negative 1, and that one will give us 2. 2 times 3 is what? 6, times 1 is 6. And 1 times 1 is 1, times x is what? X. Now let's go up. 1 times 1 times 1 is what? 1, right? X times 3 is 3x, multiplying this is negative 6x. And negative 1 times this one is negative 1, times 2 is negative 2. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, so we just add the products that we have calculated for. We are just going to add them. Okay, then we are good to go. So we have this one. Okay, so let me just rewrite 1 minus 6x minus 2, right? We have the upward arrows like this, okay? So we are adding them. What are we getting? This one will give you negative 1. So negative 6x minus 1. So this is the result for the upward arrows. So negative 6x minus 1, okay? Yes, then we do same for the down. That one is 8 plus x. So 2 plus 6 plus x, and we are going to get 8 plus x. So for the down arrows, you have 8 plus x. Okay. Yeah, it is somehow complex because we have x in it. But then if you get numbers, all the colors and rows being indicated or being given as what numbers, that one it's very simple. You just add, then you subtract the downward arrows from what the upward arrows, and you are good to go. Okay, so we have 8 plus x, right? Then the top one. So let me just continue here. We have this. We are subtracting the top one from the down one. So we have 8 plus x Then we are subtracting the top one, which is negative 6x minus 1. And so the answer that you get, okay, if all were to be given as what? Numbers, you just complete here or you just end here because you are just going to get a number. Let me clean it before you get confused. Let me rewrite it somewhere so that so we have what? The down one comes first, 8 plus x, then minus the top one comes, so negative 6x minus 1. Okay, now when you get to this stage, you are done. Do you get it? But because we have x and there was equal sign, which is what? 16, right? So you are just going to solve it linear. X plus x, 8 plus x, negative will give you positive 6x, and negative times negative 1 will give you plus 1, equal to 16. So you have 8 plus 1 to be 9, plus 6x plus x is what? 7x, equal to 16. Okay, so you have 7x equal to 16 minus 9, right? So 16 minus 9 will give you what? 5, right? It will give you 7, right? 7, yes, 7. So you have 7. So your x is equal to 1. Okay, so it means the value of x here is what? 1. Okay, and that is all. Let's find out for option 1. Question 12 is D. And so let's move on to question 13. Question 13. And for question 13, let's be clean here so that I can get enough space. So for question 13, given that minus 7p plus 14q, so minus 7p plus 14q, okay, equal to 42, equal to minus 42, right? Minus 42. And 3p plus 12q, 3p plus 12q is equal to 90. The question is saying we should use Cramer's rule to evaluate the unknowns and find the value of p minus q. Okay, and find the values for p minus q. So the question is asking us to use what? Cramer's rule for, is it? Yeah, this just simultaneous equation involving two variables. So for question 13 like this, you can just ignore using Cramer's rule because it is what? MCQ. If you want to learn how to calculate simultaneous equations using Cramer's rule, yes, I've done a video on that. Equations involving two variables, equation involving what? 3 variables. But this is equation involving what? 2 variables. So you just pick your calculator, then you input equation 1, equation 2. You get the value for p and q, then you solve for it. So when you solve it simultaneously, your p is going to be 14 and q to be 4. And you get q to be 4. So your p minus q is going to be 14 minus 4. And you have what? 10. Okay, as your final answer. And so 10 is option what? B. So you learn how to use the calculator to solve simultaneous equations. Okay, so question 13 is B. Now let's move on to question 14. We have x exponent t, and they are saying is the transpose of the matrix X. Okay, so X equals 0, 3, 0, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 2, 4, 2, 2. So this is our question for X. Then the value of X exponent t, we have a magnitude there, is, so what the question is just saying is that X exponent t is the transpose, right? and you have been given what? The x itself, right? And you are supposed to look for what? The determinant of x exponent t. Now before you do this, you first need to calculate for x exponent t. So your x exponent t is the transpose of this, okay? And how do you even get the transpose? How do you even get the transpose? The transpose is just when you turn it 90 degrees clockwise, that is all. Okay, so you are turning the shape like this. So when you turn it like this, you will see that you get, when you turn it just once, so this side will just come here. You see that this three numbers 0, 2, 4, they will come to the top. So just turn, or when you write it on the sheet, just turn the sheet. You will get this 0, 2, 4 here, 0, 2, 4, right? Then it will go this way, so you get 2, 1, 3. No, you are going to get yes, when you turn it this way, you are going to get 3, 1, 2, right? Then you get 0, 3, 2, right? 0, 3, 2. Yes, you are going to get something like this. So just turn it 90 degrees clockwise, and that is what you are going to get. Okay. So now that you have gotten x exponent t, now find the determinant of x exponent t. And how do you do it? We are going to use the arrow method, and we are done. So we write 0, 2, 4, and we repeat the first 2 like this. Then we say 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 0, 3, 2, another 0, 3. So this is just 1, this is just 2, but this is 1, 2, 3. So it is going, yes, it is going up like this. Okay, and this one will just pass through the 3 here, the 3 here, and the 3 here, right? So the product of this, since you have 0, 0 times any number is going to give you 0. There is 0 here, you are going to get 0 here. So 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 3 will give you what? 36. So you have 36 here. And since you have 0, here will give you 0. There is 0 here, so 0. 2 times 3 will give you 6, times 2 will give you 12. Okay? Yes. So your result is going to be the down minus top. So you are going to get 36 as the answer, because when you add them, 0 plus 0 is 0 plus 36 is 36, right? Minus 0 plus 0 is 0 plus 12 is 12. So you have what? 28. No. You have 24. Sorry. You have 24. And so this is going to be your final answer. Your final answer is going to be 24. And 24 is option A. 24 is option A. Right. Hey, sorry, 14 question. 14 is option A. That is 24. And question 15. Find the derivative of the function f of x. So f of x. So if you have f of x maps to or equal to 0, negative 8x squared minus 4 cos x. They said we should find the derivative of the function. So yes, we are going to differentiate this. So if you differentiate this, you get f prime of x maps to. Now when you differentiate this, you see that these two multiply the negative 8 here to give you negative what? 16x. I hope you are good. Yes. Then when you differentiate cos, okay, when you have cos x like this and you differentiate it, you get negative sign x. So put that one in mind. So with this one, there is negative 4 already. So when you differentiate the cos x here, you are going to get negative sign x. So this is how it is going to be. When you multiply negative and negative, you are going to get 4 sine x. So there is going to be a plus here, plus 4 sine x. I hope that is good. So we are going to get negative 16x plus 4 sine s. That is option what? B for question number 15, right? Or option C. Negative 16x plus 4. Okay, so option C. This is option C. Okay. So we have option C here. Then we move on to question number 18. Okay. Question number 18. Question number 16. Sorry. Question number 16. Question number 16. So the function f of x equal to, so we say f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 7. So x squared minus 3x plus what? 7, right? Has turning point at. Okay, so you know how to calculate for turning point. You first differentiate, you equate your first differential to 0, then you find for the value of what? X. So that is what we are going to do. So our f prime of x, that is our first differential, is going to be 2x. This one will come here, we subtract 1, so 2x minus 3, and this one will give us 0. Okay, so at the turning point, or at turning point, f prime of x is equal to 0. So here we say 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so you have 2x equal to 3, 2, 2. So these two cancel out this. You have x is equal to 3 on 2 as your final answer. So the turning point has 3 on 2 as the value of x, and that is option D for question 16. Option D for question number 16. Then let's look at question number 17. Question number 17. Find the turning point of the graph y equals 2x cubed minus x4. So y equals 2x cubed minus x exponent 4. Okay, so you are going to find the turning point of this. Now, if you want to find the turning point, you first differentiate it, so dy dx. Dy dx is the same as f prime of x, don't forget. So 3 times 2 will give you 6x squared minus 4x exponent 3. Okay, and we are saying at the turning point, our dy dx is equal to 0. Okay, so we have 6x squared minus 4x exponent 3 equal to 0. Okay, so we are going to point this one on the calculator. That is quadratic equation. So you point mode option 5, that is for equations. Then you check the last option. That is where you see x raised to the power 3, right? So you first input negative 4. Then you press on equal to. You input 6 because you are just using a coefficient. You press on equal to. The next one, we don't have any number here. So you press 0 equal to 0 equal to, then you press on the equal sign again. And you are going to get the values for x. And so you are going to get x to be 0 and 3 on 2. You are going to get x to be 0 and 3 on 2. So now the question said we should find the turning point of the graph. Okay, we should find the turning point of the graph. And so in this case, we are going to substitute this 0, okay, into the question back to get the value of y. Because anytime we say point, it means point is two numbers like this, okay, yes, x value and y value. So here that we had 3 on 2 here, it means when you substitute 3 on 2 here, the answer that you will get will become what? The value for y, okay, but it wasn't necessary in this question, that is why we left it. But then here, we are finding a point, and since we have this in the option D, we just have to confirm, right? But then I'll just go in for option D because it's only option D that has 0 and 3 on 2. But don't forget, we can also have E as our answer. It means either the two options there can be wrong. The values for y, which is 0 and 27 or 16, one of them can be wrong, okay? But then we just have to solve them to verify so that we don't fall into any trap. So when you substitute 0 here, because it is 0 minus 0, you are going to get what? 0 here, everything here. If you substitute 0, you are going to get what? 0, okay? So put x equals 0 into the function. And so you are going to get y equals 2, 0 exponent 3 minus 0 exponent 4. And y will be equal to what? 0. Okay, so now we have confirmed that whenever x is 0, y is also what? 0. So we say we have 0, 0 as 1 point. So let's check for the other point. That is 3 on 2. So we are going to substitute 3 on 2 here. So that one is going to give us 2, 3 on 2 exponent 3, then minus 3 on 2 exponent 4. Okay, so when you point this on the calculator, you are going to get 27 on 16. You are going to get 27 on 16. So it means whenever x is equal to 3 on 2, x is what? 27 on 16, right? And the correct answer for this is option what? D. I solved it because sometimes you may solve it and the option here might what? Change. Although this one will be correct, but then this one might change. And you see that it is not part of what? The options. So in that case, you just have to go in for what? E. That is why it is very sound for you to always confirm your answer very well. So that is D. Okay. So let's move on to question 18. Let's move on to question 18. Question 18. So for question 18, if a point moves on the curve x squared plus y squared equal to 25, so you have x squared plus y squared equal to 25. If a point moves this way, then at 0, 5, then at 0, 5, the square y over the x squared is equal to what? Are you good? Yes, it is equal to what? So what you are supposed to do here is that we have x squared plus y squared equals 25. At 0 what? 5. So the square y over the x squared will be equal to what? Okay. Will be equal to what? So we are going to differentiate it. Okay. Then after getting our first differential, we differentiate it again to get the second differential. Then we substitute this to know the value of the square y over the x squared. That is all we are going to look at. Okay. So our solution. Let's differentiate this first. Okay. There is an implicit function. So when you differentiate it, you are going to get 2x here, right? You are going to get 2x. And now you know that anytime you differentiate what x like this, you don't add the y dx. But when you differentiate y to get 2y, that is when you add the y dx. Because anytime you differentiate y, you need to bring what? The y dx. So that is why we have the y dx here. And it's equal to what? 0. Okay. So we are going to make the y dx a subject. So we have 2y dy dx is equal to, this one will cross the equal sign to give you negative 2x. So you have 2y, you divide both sides by 2y. 2y, okay. So your dy dx is equal to 2 will cancel 2. So you have negative x over y. So this is your first what? Differential. I hope that is good. So how do you get your second differential? Now, because this is negative x over y, you are going to get a second differential by using what, or applying quotient rule. Do you get it? So how do you apply the quotient rule? You know the top one is u, the down one is what, v. So we say our u is equal to negative x, right? And our v is equal to y. Okay, but then using x and y will make the calculations complicated, although you can use this approach to solve it and get the final answer. But it will just be simple when you just introduce new variables, but you let's use what is in the question. Okay, so once you get this, what's the formula? The formula is dy. No, we already have. I have to take it step by step so that I don't get confused. Now, since we are going to differentiate it again, let's write our first differential. dy dx is equal to negative x over y. This is it. Okay. So now, how do we differentiate it again? That is when we will just apply the quotient rule. Okay. So for the quotient rule, we know that our we have to get, so it means that will be our d square y over the x squared. Okay, and so we are going to get v du dx minus u dv dx over v squared. Okay, so that is what we are going to do here. And since you can identify your u and v in the question, you can say our u is equal to negative x and our v is equal to y. Now what else do we need? We need the u dv, because now we have v here, we have u here, so we need the u dx. So the u dx will give you the u, this one will give you the u dx, right? And so the u dx will just give you negative 1, right? So negative 1. Now when you get here, you are supposed to get dv what? Dx. But let's say you have y here, so let's still use the y. Okay, say dv dy, but then we are using the same approach. Okay, so this one is just going to give you 1. I hope that is clear. Okay, so if that is clear, then let's do the multiplication and we go our way. So v is y. Okay, so we have y here. Then let's see, d square y over dx squared is equal to y multiplying the u dx, which is negative 1. Okay, minus u, which is negative x. Negative x multiplying dv dx, that is 1. Okay, then we divide everything by v squared, which is the y squared here. I hope that is good. Okay, so yes, you are going to get the square y over the x squared equal to, this one will give you negative y, this one will give you plus, because times 1 is the same as this, so plus x over y squared. Okay, so after getting this, yes, x, I have dy dx. So y negative 1 minus x. Oh, okay. Where is the y? This is y, right? So when you differentiate y, you get dy dx. Sorry, not 1. Anytime you differentiate y, you get dy dx. Okay. So when you come here, it is not going to be 1. It is going to be x multiplying dy dx. Okay. Yes, you can have it this way. X multiplying dy dx. So when you get it this way, it means the square y over this is equal to negative y plus x dy dx. Okay, yes. So now what is the value of dy dx? What is the value of dy dx? So the value of dy dx, x, we can still do the substitution here. So negative x over y. This one is giving us negative 0.5 and it's the same as 0. So our dy dx is what? 0. Okay. So we say the square y over the x squared is equal to negative y plus x into bracket 0, because our dy dx is equal to what? 0 when we do the substitution. I hope that is clear. Then you divide it by what? Y squared. Okay, so you have the squared y over the x squared equal to negative y. This one will give you 0. Okay, over y squared. And so y goes here, y. So at the end, we are going to get negative 1 over y. So the answer for the square y over the x squared is what? Negative 1 over what? Y. And what is the answer? What is the point? The point is 0 and what? 5. So wherever we see x, we substitute 0. Wherever we see y, we substitute what? 5. Okay. So we are going to get, we have negative 1 on y. So negative 1 on what? 5. And that one will be our square y over the x squared. Okay. Yes. And so that is the answer for this question number 18. It is very long though, but you can still keep the final answer in head, so that when you go and you see the same question, you just pick the final answer. Okay, but you can also look at the procedures, how to solve it, then you become good with it. So the final answer is negative 1 on 5, right? Yes, and that one is option D. That one is option D. So now question number 19. Question number 19. So let's look at it. Question number 19. Okay, so for question 19, given that y equals 5e exponent 3x plus sine x. Okay, so you are to find for dy dx. Okay, so how do you calculate for this? You just differentiate this and you multiply it by whatever you have it here, and that is all. Okay, then you differentiate this as well. Okay, so when you differentiate the exponents here, what will you get? You are going to get 3. Then you multiply the 3 by what? 5 to get 15. Then you maintain afterwards. That is e exponent 3x. So this is the differentiation. This is the differentiation of this. Are you good? Then we say plus sine x. When you differentiate sine x, you get cos x. Nothing will happen to cos x. If it is positive, you get positive cos x. But then, if it was supposed to be cos x and you change it to sine x, that is where it will become negative sine x. And so you are going to get 15 exponent 3x plus cos x. So that is option B. Okay, that is option B. So question 19 is option B. And now let's look at our last question in this video. That is question number 20. Differentiate implicitly with respect to x. So you have x plus y. You have x, y plus 2y plus 2y. Okay, equal to x squared. So find dy dx. This is implicit function. So you hold this one constant, x constant, you differentiate y to get dy dx. Okay, plus you hold y constant, you differentiate x and that will give you 1. So we are done with the differentiation of x and y. You are treating it as what? A product rule. Have it in mind. So plus 2, yes, when you differentiate 2y, you get 2, then you bring your dy over dx, okay, equal to 2x, right? So here we have to group like terms, then you find for dy dx. So x dy dx plus 2 dy dx is equal to, we have 2x here already, minus what? Y, okay? So there is a common factor which is dy dx, so we say dy dx into brackets, you have what? X plus 2 equal to what? 2x minus y, okay? Yes, so you just have to divide both sides by what? The coefficient of dy dx. So you have x plus 2 here, you have x plus 2 here. This one cancel out this. So your dy dx in this case is equal to 2x minus y over x plus 2. And this should be your final answer. 2x minus y over x plus 2. So that is option B for question number 20. Okay, that is option B for question number 20. Okay. Alright, so this is the end of the first part of the quantitative past question 1. Okay, we will meet again in another video to continue from question number 21 to 40. Okay.